Welcome to Advertising Champions, your go-to destination for insights into the dynamic world of advertising. I'm your host, Tony Stanol, and today we're talking with Greg Christensen of Barnes Creative Bank. Welcome, Greg.
Thanks, Tony. It's good to be on the show.
Thank you. And I know you're a longtime creative director, writer, producer, you name it, from
like 20 years in the industry.
Big agency in Dallas, and then recently left there, and now you're doing something related but completely different, and it taps into a very interesting trend in the industry. Tell us about your journey there, Greg.
Thanks, Tony. One of the trends that I started seeing in the industry was that brands were bringing their creative services in-house more and more. When I started working in advertising, the idea of working in-house was almost anathema. It was like, oh, you're a designer on the brand side. It must be because you can't get a job at a real agency. That's no longer the case now. Really great brands are hiring award-winning, fantastically talented creatives, and they're giving less and less work to agencies, or they're using agencies in different ways while they're beefing up all of their work in-house. Some of them are doing it amazingly well. Airbnb is doing terrific. Liquid Death is doing terrific. There's a long list of places that are doing fantastic, but there's also a long list of brands that are really great brands, but might not have the creative services and the firepower that they need in-house, or maybe they have some, but they have a lot of pain points that are kind of hidden for them. And so that's what the Barnes Creative Bank is meant to do, is meant to go in and help top brands create top in-house creative services.
Right. Now, having worked with some of these in-house agencies to staff their teams, I know that there's kind of a division between those that are designed to be efficient, faster, cheaper, and those who have more of a creative vision in their intent. Are you seeing that, or and maybe there are other divisions? I don't know.
I think that every brand wants to be creative at some level. Now, how much they value the creativity, how much their executive suite values the creativity, that can vary. I think everyone wants results, and I think creativity absolutely drives results used correctly. The real pain points that I see, though, are in-house companies that maybe have a few designers but don't really have writers, or don't have anyone doing anything according to strategy. Or maybe they have, I know some brands that have over 100 creatives on staff. I mean, a team of 100, that's an agency, but they have no production capabilities. So they have to turn to partner agencies to produce their creative work. There's all kinds of pain points that these agencies feel. Sometimes they see it, sometimes they don't. But those are the real divisions that I see.
Right. And now you've been doing this a short time. It's early days yet, but do you have any success stories, any case studies to point to? You don't have to name names if it's.
Yeah, I do, and I probably shouldn't name names at this point as much as I'd like to. But I have worked with one pretty good brand, I would say, to really help them understand how they can do production, or what levers they can pull for production when their in-house team comes up with a great idea that normally they would have turned to an agency to come up with the idea, execute it, and then they just sit back and judge whether they like it or not, and they give their feedback. That's one pain point that I've helped. Another client, what I've helped them do is really just recognize the need for writing. And by writing, I actually mean someone who can write strategically, not just who can pull from a manual. These are some of the headlines we've used in the past. Because it seems that a lot of brands, when they get started, we're talking about really fresh new brands, they see the need to be on social media, because sometimes they equate that as inexpensive or less expensive, and they end up hiring someone who has, call it social media experience, but really they just have a couple thousand followers because of interesting posts that have nothing to do with the brand. They just know how to use social media. But then that gets to be really, the strategy goes all over the place. If you're just trying to get likes and shares, the strategy just kind of becomes a blur. And so I have helped one company see the need for more consistency when it comes to strategy and writing.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing that today, Greg. And I'm guessing people could find you at barnescreativebank.com.
That's right. And there's an E in Barnes, so don't forget the E.
Barnes.
There's
Okay,
also,
got it.
if I can plug it, I also have a podcast called Let's Bring It In, where I interview creative leaders at in-house agencies. That just spun off of, I was having all these conversations with CMOs and directors of advertising, and I thought I should record these and put them out. So the Let's Bring It In podcast is available where you get all your fine podcasts.
Fantastic. Well, have yourself a good day, and nice talking to you again, Greg.
Thanks so much, Tony. I appreciate it. Good to see you.
And thank you for joining us on this episode of Advertising Champions. You could find out more information at dailynewsnetwork.com, and we'll see you next time.
We've been around for 16 years, working with clients, with thousands of clients. We're working with agencies to be able to scale them and grow them and provide them services that would cost them way more than it would for them to do it themselves. Anything oriented around lead generation, video creation, web design, we're full service, so we can really serve most people.